So we will start. Does everyone? Is there any copies of the psalm of the?
No, Rabbi.
No. Okay. Everything was done in such haste because I guess Rita wanted it this way. You know, God fulfills the wishes of every human being to leave this world the way they need to in the most perfect way. Sometimes we don't understand how something could be perfect when there's such a loss. But what's lost from us, our eyes, is found in the eyes of heaven. So I'm going to go on and recite the special chapter 23 of the Psalms. A psalm by David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He revives my soul. He directs me in the paths of righteousness for the sake of his name. Even if I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they will comfort me. You will prepare a table before my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup is full. Only goodness and kindness shall follow me all the days of my life. And I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for many long years. I will ask my children and we'll ask anyone who wants to help bring the coffin here. We will do the Yosher B'Seiser. I don't know how many we need, but let's get the Aron. Let's bring it out. And we will stop 7 times, because 7 times represents the life of the person in 10, every day of the week. So we atone. The day of one's passing is like their personal day of judgment, Yom Kippur. The day of their birth is like their personal Rosh Hashanah, Jewish New Year, a New Year, their personal. So every day, we stop for every day, and we make a prayer for every day of the week she lived, timing it in years. So we will. Okay. That's because it has to God, make sure the roof is okay. And then we have to the feet are facing. Okay, so the feet are facing east.
I'm lower on the
Oh, so after I spoke to Joseph, I asked, sometimes we connect the dots of when a person is born, when God has given life to the person down on this world, making it clear to the world on the day of Rita's birth that the world cannot exist without you. She was born August 27th, 1938, right? So she was born on the Shabbos, on the Saturday, on the holiest day of the week. She was born on a Saturday. Anyone remember that? Anyone know that? Okay. In the Hebrew date, it was the last day of the month of the comforting of the Father, Menachem Av. Lamed Menachem Av, 5698. And she passed away. So she was already born on the 30th day of the month, which is called the comforting of the Father. And today, we are coming to realize the comfort of the Father that she's been called back to, her personal Yom Kippur. She was taken from us, called back to the world above on the 17th of Tishrei, which was, what was the English date on the 17th? What was the 17th of, when she passed away a couple of days ago, was the English date was? The 14th. And she passed away on a Wednesday, which is interesting to note. Wednesday is the day that we actually prepare for the Shabbos day. We say already some prayers in the song of the day that connect us to the Shabbat day. So she was taken on Wednesday, which is also connected to the first day she was born, on Saturday, on Shabbos. So on Shabbos, we know, is the day that we meet the CEO of all CEOs while we're alive. And she was called back on the third day of Sukkot to be in God's shadow and to be with God, with His kingdom and throne above in heaven. Her Hebrew name was Chana Sarah Bas Avraham, and this is the day that was designated for her passing, right in the midst of the holiday of Sukkot, the time that we dwell in huts. Right now, we will ask anyone of the family to say a few words about her, share some thoughts or some memories. Her son came all the way from Israel to come back to Des Moines, Iowa. But this time is to see his mother farewell. And we hope that the day will come that we all pray for, that we will see all our loved ones in a soul and body again. Amen. May we witness this day, this wonder and miracle in our own lifetime. So anyone from the family who would like to say a few words? This is the time. We're all family here. There's no yeah, just woke up and say a few words. Come to the microphone.
I'm her cousin Norm. We go back to 1948 in Montreal with my brother. Having fun, playing in the dirt, her watching us. Actually, I'm watching my younger brother. She's watching me, and both of us. I'm glad I could be here. I'm blessed to be here. Thank you.
she'll be here any minute.
Can I say a few words?
Everyone's welcome just to come up, say words. There's no platform or stage. This is talking to Rita. The funeral is about Rita right now.
So, as this is, the rabbi mentioned, in the Jewish calendar, this is the Feast of Tabernacles, one feast of unity that draws people together. And, and as such, this is, in the Jewish calendar, a happy time. So I would like this to be like a celebration of her life, and like to share some things that she taught me, because she was one of the most important mentors I ever had in my life. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have gone on the trajectory that I went on. And she was always there. No, she did not have an easy life at all. But one thing that she always did was to look at the positive and go for the positive. And everybody in life has their ups and downs, and I certainly had my ups and my downs. And thank God I could count myself blessed. Maybe I've had more ups and downs. But when I had those downs, one of the things that she taught me was always that you'll get through it. And that, just even the simple things. Today I work in travel business, and thank God I have a successful business. Just to even think about being an entrepreneur, let alone, and then to go into travel, like these were two things that she spoke to me about like all the time. And this, I guess, unwittingly fulfilled, these things that she had mentioned. Many know that she wasn't able to have children of her own, and ultimately she married my father, and from the age of 8 for over 35 years, she has served as a mother for me. And I just have to say thank you. And again, celebration, not a time to be sad, but I was planning to come. You asked me if I would come to you for your burial, and I'm here.
As we get, there's a few people still coming, so they'll be here momentarily. In her Hebrew name that she chose for herself is Chana Sarah, the gracious princess. Chana is God's gracious one. Chana was the mother of Samuel the prophet, and Sarah is after Abraham's wife, Sarah, the princess. So she's the gracious princess. And we saw her many times. We had her over at our home. So it's not like a rabbi out of nowhere, burying someone out of nowhere. I am honored to be able to honor her. And we thank God, our Father in heaven, who brought everyone here together to honor the last moments on earth below. As you know, in Judaism, the greatest commandment is to earth you came from, to earth you go back to. This is going back to God in the most natural way, giving her soul and body back to the Almighty. As much as the soul is part of God, the body is even more part of God, because the soul and body work together as a garden. You need the soil and you need the fruits. You need the vegetables. You need both to make it a garden. In Hebrew, the word body is guf, which is the gih. The first letter is gih. And the neshama, the soul, is the word neshama. Take the first two letters, you have the word gan, which is the garden. Every one of us is compared to the tree of the field. Every one of us is a walking garden. Is your garden giving out the best, healthiest, sweetest fruit? The best vegetables? Are you giving out the best thoughts? Are you looking at everything for what it is? Are you looking at everything for every decision today? How will it affect you for tomorrow? Will there be long-term regrets over the short-term good time? This is what every gardener takes into consideration. Is it a good time to plant? Maybe the weather's not going to be well. Maybe we should wait a little bit. Every timing is everything, and figuring out the best plan. If we could do that with gardens, and farmers do that every day here in Iowa, how much more with our own garden? Is this a healthy thought? Sometimes we gotta ask ourselves, is this thought gonna get me anywhere? Is this gonna make me more part of heaven on earth, or it's gonna take me down, or by burying myself alive? But she gave her name. She chose a name for herself. I don't know why, but the name itself speaks everything of the person she has become. She, as you know, she has chosen to become a practicing Jewess. Kana Sarah is the gracious princess of God on earth. And do you know, she ended up marrying the chief rabbi of Chicago. Second marriage. Who would ever thought? So she actually, her name, as much as she lived for this name, that name, her Hebrew name lived in her. I mean, we were all like, Rita married Rabbi Schwartz, Rabbi Gedalia Schwartz, the chief rabbi? I mean, when she went for something, she didn't go for the ordinary. She went to the prince himself. So there you have it. So now you know the rest of the story. And we are honored to have our minion here and momentarily, so Kaddish could be said. But Chana Sarah, I want to mention the Psalms that start off with the first name, the initials, because you're going to need it up there. Up there, they also put you through a vetting. They ask you your Hebrew name, and sometimes you got to know the verse that your name is connected to. So Chana is from Shir is from the Eishes Chayil, the woman of Allah. Chagra be'oz masleha v'ta'am zersa. She's a woman that basically wraps her loins together, gets focused where she got to go and what she got to do, and her hands, she strengthens to get the job done. Get the job done. I know sometimes when as a secretary at that synagogue, she would stay hours later because she didn't get the job done. She could not leave until she got the job done. And she never charged for those hours. Those hours were because that's the person she was. And will always be. And then Sarah, Sarah starts with a shin and a resh, and it is Se'u Yidechem Kodesh. I raise my hands in holiness and I bless God. Yes, Rita, these verses lived in you while you were alive on earth, and now you are alive. You're going to a full life in heaven. In Judaism, there is no such thing of death, the way people think, that you're nobody right now. She hears everything. She sees everything. She just can't respond. The body and soul are separated, but hovering over each other. The soul is hovering over her. She is here. She appreciates and she's honored that not only her family is here, but her son, Yosef, made the trip all the way from Israel. It wasn't easy. And we are all here to honor this special person who probably could write 5 volumes of her life story, because each book will tell another story of her life. But we're honored to give her the one final respect from the bottom up. Because now we're seeing to her, but once she's buried in the ground, and she's, as they say, the plane doesn't take off until you're buckled up. She doesn't have her full journey start until she is buckled into the buckle of God's natural, going back to the soil, which is God's soul. Going back to the soul of all souls. Okay, we have it going here. So, if no one else who wants to say a few words about her, Fred?
Just something that, my brother and I knew her whole life. And one of the funniest things that I can remember, one time I was kidding her. We were in front of the synagogue. And I was kidding her at the time. And she says, I'm going to get you. And she came over like this, and I started running, because I was always used to kid her. I started running, and I thought I could outrun her. And I realized I ran about a quarter of the way down the block, and I realized, and I turned around, and she was right behind me. She was, and I kept going. I was actually afraid of her at one time. So we stopped. We ran out of breath, and we both started laughing. And then I gave her a hug, and she gave me a hug, and so I kidded her a couple of times about that. It's just a kind of a little humorous event on a day like today. So thank you.
We will now lower the casket, and we will start the process of honoring her for being buried in the earth, according to the Torah Jewish way, the most heavenly way. And as we lower her down, as we start the process of lowering her down, the gates of her heaven starts opening up. So when one door closes, we realize the other door was already open. It starts opening up. So that's why we don't do this fast. It's heartbroken. We're gonna lower her down only to go 3 steps back to get to millions of miles ahead. Hadasora Bas Avram. Hadasora Bas Avram. Anyone who feels that they want to ask for any apology, that they might have said something wrong to her, speak about it, or go over to this is the time where they already see the truth and everything, and they don't hold any grudges. So she goes up without being tied to anyone, and it's a time that we let go of all grudges for her to hold on to the source of all life, all her soul. And then when we start shoveling the soil into the grave, the first 3 shovels is from the back. We show that this is not our natural thing that we do. And then we do from the 4th one up, we do regular shoveling. We're going to try to get her all in, and then Yosef will say Kaddish, special regular Kaddish, because of the holiness of the holiday. We don't say the regular mourners Kaddish that is said by the graveside.
Jewish flag, again, it's a sign of respect that we show for
Anyone from the family would like to help in this great mitzvah of burying our loved one, feel free to just walk over. Well, let's. No. Now? Ich habe den geschrieben. Tonight, we're gonna have. Try to cover the whole face. I want to thank everyone who came. Some people took off work and have to go back. So we're gonna just try to cover the face of the coffin, and then Yosef will say the special Kaddish. And those who want to wait until the whole grave is filled, meet the honor. That will be your discretion. I want to thank Don's Funeral Home and the funeral home in Chicago and the Chevra Kadisha of Chicago, who within 2 days were able to arrange everything, and otherwise it would have to be a week and a half later after all the holiday. Thanks to the family who were able to honor her and get her where she has to go. There's nothing like, no one wants to be stuck at the airport for 24 hours, She doesn't want to be stuck between the twilight zone. She wants to go where she got to go. So it's our obligation to Jewish law to get the person buried within 24 hours. But in Iowa, we're a little laid back with that. We don't have it. In Israel, they bury right away, because it's painful for the soul not to be buried when they're in this state. So, Rita, we're getting there. We're getting there, and we apologize for the delay of time. Let's try to get. Sorry, this is some sand from Israel. Oh. Let's just cover it with the side here. Rita, we have you covered. We have you covered so you could reveal your soul fully. So Joseph will say Kaddish. Say over here. No, do you want to say it? Facing Yerushalayim. We bury her facing the east side, which is towards the Middle East, towards Jerusalem, is in the east. Because her feet are ready. She's ready to gird her loins and get up and continue serving God in holiness. So, that's one answer.
Obviously, like the prayer, they call it the mourner's prayer, but it's not really a mourner's prayer. It's a little bit of praise to God. So him, I'm going to say it in the language that was originally composed in Aramaic. And if afterwards anyone wants to know what I said, I'll say it.
Everyone answer.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמך רבה.
Amen.
ועל מה דברה קירותיך והמלך מלכותיך וצמח בגני וקרן שלך.
Amen.
וחי יכון ומכון וחי לכל בית ישראל. בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמו אמן.
Amen.
יהי שמך רבה מברך לעולם ומעלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתאמן ונעשה. יתגדל ויתעלה וגדלה שמך קדושה.
Amen.
ואלה מכל וחטא שירתה תשבתה ונחמתה. דמרן בעלמה ואמו אמן.
Amen.
יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה. חיים וסביבה ושוע ונחמה של זבה. רפואה גדולה, סליחה וכפרה. ורווח מצד עלינו כל עמו ישראל ואמו אמן.
Sure, Joseph will continue saying Kaddish, or and have backup when he can. So for the next 11 months, this prayer 3 times a day will be uttered and said, and chanted and said to give her this year of mourning the respect and dignity it deserves and what she deserves. I'm going to do the final prayer, which means our God, our merciful Father, full of compassion. I will do it in the Hebrew first and then English. El Malei Rachamim Shoichei Meraimim Hamtzei Menucha Nechayna Al Kanfei Hashchina V'Maleis Hakdeshim V'Tahirim Kizay Harikia Masirim Es Nishmas Chana Sarah Bas Avram Shaholcha Le'ilama Babo Shenad V'Staka B'Yad Askaras Nishmasa V'Ganei Tei Menucha Salachem Bal Harachamim Yastireha B'Seis Eknaf Le'ilamim Yitzar B'Tzar HaChaim Es Nishmasa Adonai Hu Nachalasa V'Sanuach HaMishkava B'Shalom V'Naim Amen. O God, full of compassion, who dwells on high, grant true rest upon the wings of the Shekhinah, God and the divine presence, in the exalted spheres of the holy and pure, who shine as the purity of the sky, the firmament, to the soul of Rita, Hannah Sarah, the daughter of Abraham, named, who has gone to her supernal world. For charity has been donated in remembrance of her soul. May her place of rest be in Gan Eden, in heaven, in paradise. Therefore, may the All-Merciful One shelter her with the cover of His wings forever, and bind her soul in the bond of life. Yisro b'tzar ha'chaim es nishmasa. The Lord is her heritage. May she rest in her resting place in peace. And let us all say, Amen. We will now say the traditional verse to the family. Hamakim Yenachim Eschem B'Soch Sha'arei V'Yatzim Yerushalayim. May the Almighty, the place of all place, where Rita is now, be a comfort to the whole family and all those who mourn and await for the rebuilding of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. Hopefully in our lifetime. Amen. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be so. Right now we conclude with this service. We will continue. Those who want to stay, see the truck come fill it up. We could tell we're ready. Those who need to go where they back to work, thank you for coming and making this possible. Unfortunately, another announcement: Sunday, 10:30 after davening, Hoshayna Rabbah, we have another funeral. Naomi Bas Menachem, who died last night late. I knew her very well, and we helped her bury her parents. She's going to be buried Sunday at Bethel Jacob. So we'll send out an announcement. Whoever can come, please come. Okay.